Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Shaw and welcome back to the channel, which is all about the narcissistic personality disorder, to give you more understanding of what you might have been through in your life, the people you might be dealing with in your life, and how to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you like the information on the channel. So this video is about how narcissists escape accountability and pass the responsibility on to us. It's about how we find it quite difficult. A lot of victims, a lot of survivors of narcissistic abuse do find it very difficult to grasp hold of the idea that they weren't at fault, that they weren't to blame. They take responsibility for not only their behaviour, but also their abuser's behaviour, the narcissistic person's behaviour. Why a lot of people stay trapped in these relationships, it's very hard to grasp the reality of what truly happened. And this is often caused by the narcissist gaslighting our reality to escape accountability and responsibility by blame shifting everything onto us, which is basically projection. They project everything they do, they project how they want to see reality onto us, they project their behaviour onto us, they project their actions onto us. If they've done something they don't want us to know about, and we find out and question them about this, they will say things like, that didn't happen, so that they gaslight our reality away, or they'll say it was our fault so that we take responsibility for what happened. Or they will provoke a reaction from us, then they will deny provoking that reaction, and then they will accuse us of being at fault by using our actions against us. They will downplay whatever they do, they will exaggerate whatever we do, they will exaggerate our feelings. So there's several ways they do this, and it's often easy for them to manipulate our minds because we usually have certain personality traits. Now, you might not have all of them, you might have one or two, or you've usually got some sort of background. So things like, if you had narcissistic parents, so you then accept behaviour from people that you shouldn't really accept from people. Or things like you've got a very forgiving nature, so if people can do an awful lot and you are willing to forgive them because you can accept that you make mistakes, people make mistakes, and life's about forgiveness and moving on, not realising that that person will continuously make them mistakes. It's okay to forgive someone once, people do make mistakes, but when they repeat that mistake, it's a pattern of behaviour as who they are, and we have to learn that once we've forgiven them once, that's it. If they do it again, that is who they are as a person. I think it was Albert Einstein that said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So for the narcissist, they do the same thing over and over and get stuck in that same pattern of repeating the same sort of relationships over and over again. And for the people on the receiving end of abuse, we also get stuck in that cycle and that pattern, but for a different reason. We get stuck in that cycle because we forgive over and over again, expecting a different result. And it's okay to forgive people. Forgiveness is for us. Forgiveness is not to excuse their toxic behaviour. It's not to make what they did okay. Forgiveness is for us so we can leave that in the past and move on with our future. It's the chances we give that we need to change, because when we keep giving the same person the same opportunities to disappoint us time and time again, to hurt us time and time again, to let us down time and time again, that is who they are. So you can reach, it can take a while to reach the stage of forgiveness once you've come to terms with what you've been through, but just because you forgive someone doesn't mean they're entitled to a second, third, fourth, fifth chance to do it to you again. We can forgive them, leave them to it, and move on with our life. We think that we can help them. People who want to help other people often end up in this situation because they believe they can help them see the light, they can help them change. They have the hope of bringing that idealization phase back and helping the person see the error of their ways. But a narcissist does not want to see the error of their ways. They feel superior. So you questioning a mistake that they've made questions their superiority, it questions their belief that they are entitled to do as they please, and they believe that they can then exploit you to meet a need of their own. So it's also people that are honest. So even if you might make a mistake and you might tell a white lie, you might be very quick to tell the truth, and you expect other people to be honest with you. So you can go and confront them in the hope that they will show some remorse, that they will show some honesty, but they don't. They just deflect the blame away from themselves and put that blame onto you. And because of that forgiving nature, because of that trusting nature, you end up believing them over your own thoughts and feelings. So there's several ways narcissistic people do this, and it's often through words. When we go and ask them about something, first of all, they will deny. So it's things like, I never said that, that never happened, it didn't happen like that, it wasn't that bad. So they will deny whatever we've gone to approach them about, ask them about, have a two-way conversation about, believing that you can communicate with someone and find that compromise with something. The first thing they will do is, because they feel their authority being questioned, because they feel that superiority being questioned, because they are arrogant enough to believe they should be entitled to do as they please, they will deny. And that denying is to gaslight your reality, to change your reality, to change who you are as a person, to change how you think about situations so that you question yourself. And if that doesn't work, they will attack you. They'll go on the attack. So it'll be things like, you're always causing arguments, you're too sensitive, you're crazy, you can't take a joke, you're insecure, you're jealous. And with things like this, most of us know within ourselves that we can have a joke with somebody, perhaps take it too far, not meaning to, hurt somebody else's feelings, accept responsibility that we've hurt that person's feelings, and go and say, I'm sorry, I was only joking, I didn't mean to hurt you, I will not do it again. And we learn from that behaviour and we don't do it again, because our intention with a joke was to mess around, not realising that we'd hurt their feelings. And once we do realise we hurt their feelings, we don't do it again. A narcissist will come at you with, can't you take a joke? And then the definition of insanity, they will do it to us again and again and again to push that boundary. Even though we've explained our feelings on it, they will continue to do it so that we conform more to their behaviour, so that we almost become accustomed to their behaviour. And each time we accept that thing, each time we stop speaking up about that thing, they then up it another level. They then do something more hurtful. They do something else to take us further down. And the more we accept it, the more they do, the more they deny, the more they blame shift, the more they accuse us, the more they get us to take responsibility. And this is when they say things to you like, you're too sensitive, you're not too sensitive. These are normal emotions that people have, especially when people are hurting you. And they say it so we question ourselves, we question our feelings, and we stop questioning their behaviour. When they say you're jealous, you've usually got every right to be jealous, because they're usually doing something behind your back. They usually lack the morals, they usually lack the respect to care for you, and they are usually doing something to make you jealous. And they will twist it by hiding the phone, by going out and not telling you where they're going, to get you in that state of hypervigilance, to get you questioning them more, so that they can turn it around more, saying you're jealous. So then you're the one sat there thinking, am I overreacting? Am I being jealous? Am I being sensitive? Meanwhile, they carry on doing whatever they want to do, because they're escaping the accountability and they're shifting all the responsibility onto you. Which is the same as things like, why do you have to make things so difficult? When in reality, they're the ones that are making things so difficult. But because they will not hold to their own behaviour, because they will not be accountable to their own behaviour, it will be your fault. They're usually meaning you're making it difficult for them to do as they please without any consequences for their actions. They believe they're entitled to do as they please without any consequences to their actions. And when you ask them, and that questions their superiority, they believe that you are the one making their life difficult, because they don't see what they're doing is hurting other people, because they lack the empathy to care about the fact that they hurt other people. They're only interested in serving their own needs, in meeting their own needs. Anything else, anything anyone questions them about, they will deny and distract people. And then when attacking you doesn't work, they will go on to blaming you. So then it'll be things like, well, if you hadn't, I wouldn't. You're a liar. You're a cheater. Again, things like, you're too sensitive. You can't take a joke. You need to live a little. You need to lighten up. So they will find a way to project what they have done or what they are feeling onto you. So by saying things like, if you hadn't, well, actually, they're the ones that have done something. So if they hadn't, you wouldn't be questioning them and the whole situation wouldn't be happening right now. Or if at least they take responsibility for what they've done, so you could communicate, reach middle ground, find that compromise and work together to create a future like most people would do. Whereas a narcissist will project what they've done onto you and then say, if you hadn't. So they will find a way to take the blame, which is why we often end up during and afterwards with that self-doubt of, well, if I hadn't have done that, well, it wasn't that bad. They were only messing around. They're quite a nice person, really. I was the one that was making things too difficult. I was too needy. So we end up saying things like that, and they escape the accountability for their own behaviour. They escape taking responsibility for what they've done to us, because they've blame shifted and they've projected that all into us, so that we have soaked it all up and we're taking all the blame, we're taking all the responsibility, when we do have to have that radical acceptance, and we do have to be responsible for our own behaviour. We do have to realise that that hope keeps us trapped in a place that we shouldn't be, and that it is who they are. We cannot change them. We cannot help them. We cannot help them find a way to manage their behaviour. We cannot control the behaviour. The more we change to suit their needs, the more they exploit us, the more they take advantage of us, and the more they sink us. And the less they want us, the more they devalue us, the more they will then look for somebody else, because they're always looking for more. So no matter who you are for them, no matter what you do for them, they will always be looking for more. And then you've got the thing where they just will not take responsibility. So this is when they come at you with blame shifting phrases such as, look what you've made me do. You've caused this. Deal with it. This isn't my problem. This is your fault. Why do you have to ruin everything when you haven't ruined anything? You've tried and tried and tried, and you've changed and changed who you are time and time again to please them, to suit them. But it is never enough. You end up walking on eggshells. You end up blaming yourself to try and keep them happy, while they try and keep you miserable, so that they, in one way, take you away from who you are and change you into who they want you to be. But it's not who they want you to be. They want you as someone that they can easily micromanage, to do as they say, to do as they please, to not backchat, to not question their superiority, to look after them, to make it so that they don't have to lift a finger and do anything. But it's still not what they want. It's still not enough. They're still looking for more. They want someone who's happy, someone who's positive, someone who will just forgive them without questioning them. And again, it's still not going to be enough. So with a narcissist, what they do is they gaslight our reality. They slowly over time distort our reality so that we end up in that cognitive dissonance where we end up with two different realities, because there's the reality we once lived with them and the reality that they show us and the reality that they promise us that they rarely deliver on. We often end up with lots of different beliefs because we believe and we hope that they can be a decent person, a kind person, a loving person, a loyal person. But then they show us that they don't love us, they don't care about us, they don't respect us. But then they twist that round with things like, don't you know I love you? Or remember when I did this for you? So we end up in that two beliefs of, well, do they love us or don't they love us? And which, when we do as they say, they can then offer that intermittent play nice stage. So they can offer that love bombing, that idolization stage back. And that kind of then matches our belief that if we just conform to their demands, we get the person that we think they are. It's not who they are though. Who they are is both sides to them. So that manipulative person is the same person who's love bombing you. They are love bombing you to manipulate you. So when it comes to calling people out on their behaviour, yes, you can, there's a way and means of doing it. If you go calling someone out on their behaviour and they feel attacked, they might deny just purely because they feel like you've attacked them. So there's ways and means to approach people, and people that aren't on the disorder can come out with these sorts of things if they're feeling attacked, if they're feeling victimised, not because they have a disorder, but the way that it was approached. But if you go and approach a subject in a normal, whatever normal is, manner, to try and communicate with someone, to find that compromise with someone, to forgiving people, to honest people, to people who love, care and respect for each other, would find a way to work through it. Whereas when you go and call a narcissist out on their behaviour, they're just going to do all they can to send you around the twist, and they are going to enjoy it. Whether they know they are right or not, they are going to enjoy watching you trying to prove yourself, trying to prove your point, trying to explain reality to them, trying to explain your reasons behind your behaviour, trying to defend yourself to them. They are going to enjoy this. Then it's that whole game of cat and mouse. Them being the cat, they will keep toying and toying and toying with you, with your emotions, with your memories, so that they can weaken you and then they can further their control over you. When it comes to dealing with a narcissistic person, yes, we have to accept responsibility for our own behaviour, but we also have to pass back responsibility to the rightful owner for their behaviour. And with a narcissist, you can try to do this because we want people to see how they've hurt us. We want people to recognise the damage they do to other people, but a narcissist lacks the empathy to care about this. So you cannot get somebody else, you cannot make someone see the error of their own ways. You cannot make someone accept responsibility for their behaviour. There is no point in explaining yourself to them time and time again, because they are not listening to you. The only things they are listening to is things that they can use against you, either in the present or further down the line. That is the only things they will be listening to, the things that they will be able to use against you to provoke reactions, to blame you in some way. They will not take accountability for their actions. They will not accept responsibility for their behaviour. They will just find a way to shift it all onto you. So yes, we have to be responsible for our own behaviour but we have to pass back responsibility to the rightful owner for theirs. I shall have the video in the description that explains more about how they get us to doubt ourselves, how they blame shift so that we doubt ourselves. I'll also have the video on gaslighting and the video on projection to explain in more detail about those. If anyone has any advice or anything that you heard from the narcissist when they were trying to blame shift and escape accountability, when they were projecting or gaslighting, please do add that into the comments. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye.